Good evening from Washington, D.C., and thank you to those of you joining us from around the world for news from a Catholic perspective. I'm Lauren Ashburn. They are talking the talk and walking the walk. That's what Speaker of the House Paul Ryan says about Catholic Charities in Fort Worth, Texas. It's a familiar theme for the Wisconsin representative, who says local groups like Catholic Charities, not the government, should be on the front lines of fighting poverty. Capitol Hill correspondent Jason Calvi tells us more. Good evening, Jason.
Good evening, Lauren. Speaker Ryan says the government's role in welfare is crushing grassroots initiatives. He says that sends the message it's only the government's job to help the poor. Now, Speaker Ryan is visiting Catholic Charities in Fort Worth. After hearing good things about them, he says it shines a light to the nation about how to fight the poverty problem.
Please join me in thanking.
Speaker Ryan says he wants to take federal money and give it back to the states to fight poverty. He says it's a position informed by his Catholic faith.
We have these beliefs that are universal, that aren't just uniquely Catholic, that believe in the dignity of every human person, that believe in specifically helping the poor, and doing it at a local, community, personal, individual level. We call this subsidiarity.
That's the Catholic principle that decisions should be handled on a local level. It's a concept he promoted during the 2016 presidential campaign.
There's a very important role for government to play here, but that's got to be bottom up, not top down.
In 2016, Ryan promoted the Better Way proposal to fight poverty. It featured working with local charities and increasing work requirements for welfare recipients. But Georgetown Professor Harry Holzer says that piece of the plan would hurt the poor.
People who have kids at home often need exceptions from these policies, certainly when they have really little kids at home. But even those ages 6 to 18 at a minimum will need some kind of child care, other kinds of supports. And if you don't provide that, this will often create more stress in those households and will end up damaging those kids more than it helps them.
The sweeping changes Speaker Ryan proposes aren't likely to become law anytime soon. The proposals would have a very hard time reaching the 60 votes needed in the Senate. Now, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell also shot down the idea of this year working on welfare reform. Lauren?
So why is he bringing up this contentious issue now while they're on break?
Well, it's one of Speaker Ryan's central issues. He says the 50-year federal war on poverty hasn't worked and it's time for change. The idea of welfare reform could also play well with House Republicans and their conservative base in this election year. Lawmakers are home for the Easter recess and they're getting slammed for passing a massive spending bill that many conservatives criticize.
Capitol Hill correspondent Jason Calvi. Thank you, Jason.